Hello, members. Welcome back to another fantastic episode of the SCIF. We are glad to have you, and thank you, as always, for supporting this show. We really, really appreciate you, and apologies for our irregularity with getting you content. It's been a crazy summer. Hopefully, you've been having some fun out there. We've been all over the place, but we will make it up to you. And our first place we're going to make it up to you is here in this episode. Isn't that right, Kyle?
Yeah, we have a great ad to start with, some American Eagle jeans. American Eagle's making a comeback. Their stock price is looking up.
Looking up. Thanks to Sydney Sweeney, their stock is up 11% on this ad that was just released. We will show that momentarily. And we're also going to get into a recap of where our bingo cards stand as of right now, about the halfway point in the year. Who is in the lead for best predictions for 2025?
I think it's me. Unless Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift break up,
man,
then you might have it. But mine's just a sea of green right now.
I've never wanted marital strife more.
Yeah,
not really marital. They're
relationship
not married. Relational strife more than I do right now.
Yeah, the CIA stops needing that asset. You know,
you would think at some point it would cease to be useful and they would end their contract. But you know what? We're gonna see what happens. First, let's start with this Sydney Sweeney ad that is lighting the internet on fire once again.
I tell you to buy American Eagle jeans, and I definitely won't say that they're the most comfortable jeans I've ever worn, or that they make your butt look amazing. Why would I need to do that? But if you said that you want to buy the jeans, I'm not going to stop you. But just so we're clear, this is not me telling you to buy American Eagle jeans.
Sydney Sweeney has very jeans.
You see what I did there, right?
You see what she did there, Kyle?
Yeah, I think America's back. I think she brought America back. American Eagle.
American Eagle.
Yeah.
Flying high.
Flying high.
Flying high. Good ad, bad ad? What'd you think?
Well,
pros and cons.
Well, I think the reason why the ad is going viral in such a way is, one, America seems to really love Sydney Sweeney. I've never seen her act at all. Like, I've never seen anything that she's acted in, so I don't really know how good of an actor she is. I think that ad, it wasn't the greatest acting.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that was a great example of her acting prowess. If she has any, I don't know. Like you said, I've never seen anything that she's been in. But
I think just America loves her because she has a lot of very valuable assets to add to her performances. Great jeans.
Mm-hmm.
But I actually think it's more so symbolic of, we have had a decade of DEI advertising and DEI Sports Illustrated magazines and things like that, where it's like putting obese people on the front. It's like plus size models, you know, all that stuff. And now I think in the same light of Trump's victory in the election and kind of there being a different energy that's coming through on in America, there's kind of this like, we can go back to having like attractive models doing our advertising again. Like,
totally.
That's kind of where we're back again.
It's understated, right? It's not like the Carl's Jr. ad with like the bikini clad chick on like the hood of a truck with a burger in the front, right? It's like, this is tasteful and subtle. It's like they're just towing the waters of, can we get back to the America of yesteryear? And you know what? I'm here for it, right? Like, nothing against obese people in underwear ads. I mean, not going to incentivize me to buy their underwear personally, but there's other reasons for that other than the models.
Well, it's also just like, so the Sydney Sweeney effect seems to be having an effect on like the economy. So as what I'm seeing here is so she did like a bathwater thing, and a men's grooming business buys Dr. Squatch, who she did the ad for before. Or what was the story there that happened?
So Dr. Squatch, which is it's like sort of a new direct-to-consumer soap brand. It's sort of like Dollar Shave Club, effectively, for soap and shampoo and stuff. Apparently, they did a Sydney Sweeney bathwater edition of their soap. I don't exactly know how that looks or what that means.
I think they did an ad with her in a bathtub and stuff too. I think I remember.
Yeah, and they're like putting her bathwater in the soap. I mean, it's gross to me personally, because I wouldn't want to bathe in someone else's like used bathwater. That's just gross. But evidently it worked. They sold a shit ton of product. And then like months later, Unilever, like one of the largest conglomerates of, you know, personal care and cosmetic products in the world, bought Dr. Squatch for $1.5 billion. So good for them. Sydney Sweeney certainly seemed to tip the scale in their favor in that way. And now, of course, American Eagle following suit, betting big on Sydney Sweeney, incorporating her. Oh, Euphoria. She's the Euphoria star.
That was the thing that she became
that explains
super known for.
why we haven't seen it, because it's only popular with like Zoomer chicks.
Yeah. Well, and but she's also like a rom-com person now. She had like a big rom-com. She's had a big SNL appearance. I remember like she's kind of become like the next big actress that, like, if she's in the movie, the movie's going to do well, kind of thing.
Fair.
Here, I'm just pulling up on TradingView the price of American Eagle. This is, I think the ad dropped right here, 23rd maybe. So we're seeing a massive jump here from the lows, which was just a few days before. So people probably kind of front ran this a bit. We're looking at 23.5% increase.
Wild.
Now, if you zoom out on the chart, it's not like American Eagle's done incredible, but they have been kind of range bound in this region for just a long time. Like they were just kind of at their normal lows that you would expect in any of their ranges. So good on the stock price, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, apparel's an interesting industry. I don't really know a lot about it from an investing standpoint, but it seems to me to be difficult to ever really amass like long-term value in an apparel company, because fashion is so like trendy, right? It comes and goes, and American Eagle could be in fashion, it could be out of fashion. Clearly they've had their moments of greatness, and then they kind of just go back to their baseline.
It just seems like a speculative stock based off marketing. Like that's what it seems like.
Well, right. And I mean, that's really all it can be, right? Because you're not creating long-term shareholder value selling jeans and t-shirts, right? Like it's just clothing, and it's a commodity really, other than the brand, right?
And it's not like your American Eagle's not going to be this massive global hit that just dominates market share. Like that's what you would expect from a stock price to just continue to go up and up and up.
Unless Trump came out wearing American Eagle jeans, then we're making American Eagle great
Sydney
again.
Sweeney Trump collaboration. Yes. Trump's like, they're the best jeans.
We've got Sydney Sweeney. I hear she's pretty good.
She's pretty good.
Some might say the best. I'm not saying that. Some people are
Born
saying
in America. Flying high. That's what they say.
Some people are saying it.
Some people are saying it.
Okay. So anyway, good on you, I guess, American Eagle, for bringing back American values and attractive women to your ads.
Well, it's actually maybe just one final thought on this before we get to the bingo sheets too. I feel like I remember back in February or something, like wasn't there, I felt like I started noticing just on Twitter, like Twitter advertising and things like that, like people were posting where it was just all these new ads where it's just like, yes, there's an attractive woman. And it's just like, and I felt like people were just kind of like, we're back.
Sigh of relief.
Yeah, we're back. We're done with the whole DEI thing. And
Yeah.
I think that's actually the real story here is we're done with the DEI thing.
Right. This is a cultural signal, and hopefully, not to like need to be exclusionary of anybody, but just like quit browbeating us with it, like do your thing, whatever.
The moral purity thing.
Right. Like
egalitarianism.
there needs to be some brands out there that represent regular Americans. And I appreciate American Eagle for being one of those. Obviously, they're sort of just like taking the temperature of the country and saying it's safe to do this. Like they're a corporation just like every other corporation. They're going to go the direction of the prevailing trend or whatever way they think is going to not get them in trouble. But clearly there's demand for this, so we'll probably see more of it.
Well, there's also, I think, the egalitarian streak that ran through the West is very anti-human nature in a sense, where humans like to see attractive people. Like humans just like that. And we got shamed into being like, no, you shouldn't like that. Here's this other thing. And now you have to celebrate it. And it was like, it's that where there's this revolution against human nature that is embedded in the egalitarian ideology. And this is the resistance to that. Like from like a symbolic archetypal standpoint, it almost feels like.
It's the return of hierarchy.
Yeah.
And order.
Yeah,
if you want to put it in Jordan Peterson terms.
Sydney Sweeney is the embodiment of that fight on a symbolic level.
Of order over chaos. Sydney Sweeney is like paradigmatically, a symbol of order in the world. We're returning to nature.
See, when she comes part of your advertising campaign, stocks go up, and that's a return of human nature.
And that's not nothing. It's not.
It's not nothing.
Okay.
See, it depends what you mean by order. It's the equilibrium.
Star of the show Euphoria. We might be entering a new American Euphoria at this moment.
That's a good one. All
right. That's enough to
okay,
repeat us.
let's get to these bingo cards. So this is a bit of a recap, actually, of the whole year. It'll allow us to kind of talk about some things that we maybe haven't talked about in a while. Whose bingo card should we go to first? Do you have
grab bag?
Yeah, we have mine, yours, David's, and then Emily, one of our listeners and SCIF member, also has a bingo card in here. Hers are a little bit more
cultural
than ours are.
Let's start with Emily. Thank you, Emily, for supporting the show. We appreciate you very much. And you know what? We're excited to report, actually, that you have got a new green square. So let's start just from top left. Menendez brothers freed. This has not happened, unfortunately, but there has been a little bit of movement on that. The last I read, their sentence was reduced. They are eligible for parole, but at this moment, not looking like they will be freed outright. But you know what? Year's not over, so anything is possible there. Ukraine-Russia war ends. We've got that one yellow on, and we've got that on several of our bingo cards, so we'll just address it here. Obviously, it seems like peace talks have stalled a bit, but hopefully, something will come of that by the end of the year. I think we're all pulling for that one.
Day one.
It would have never started. Yep. Just one of many overpromises, underdelivers, but that's all right. Unprecedented hurricane season. I don't think we've seen this yet. Hurricane season is not over. I actually don't know what the precedent would be. So we would have to compare this to a baseline.
I feel like unprecedented would be like Katrina levels or something
right.
to happen, right?
Well, we did have Helene last year, which was a huge deal and obviously caused widespread devastation in the Southeast, which they are still recovering from and will be for some time. But so far, no like major catastrophic hurricanes have come through yet. But season is not over. Ivermectin gets the credit it deserves. I don't think that ivermectin has yet gotten the credit it deserves, and this might not happen for a while.
I feel like it's maybe yellow in a sense where it's not this demonized drug like it was before. And I feel like there is kind of a consensus that ivermectin was fine. That kind of exists. Maybe it hasn't existed.
It was always fine.
Yeah.
Is the thing. And we can beat this horse even deader, but prescribed billions of times worldwide. One of, the WHO's top 100 medicines or whatever it is, super safe, universally used and loved for decades. Nobel Peace Prize given to the creator of it. Lots of good things. Nobel Prize. Sorry, not Peace Prize. Yes, it created world peace.
Stop the
war. So yes, I think ivermectin has a long way to go to get back to the credit that it deserves. But hopefully, with RFK doing the things that he's doing regarding the vaccine schedule and all that stuff, I think we're in ripe territory for it to come back, or to get some recognition, at least, something to controvert the demonization that it got during the Biden administration and during COVID. Brian Kohberger is found guilty. This one did happen. Congratulations, Emily. You got a square on this one. Brian Kohberger was the guy who murdered all of those students at the University of Idaho in Moscow, not too far from us here. He was found guilty, and he will be sentenced. It looks like he's going to be serving multiple life sentences, I believe I read. So, good. Murder is bad. Fuck that guy, etc.
Murder is bad. Joe Sheehan.
Yep. Controversial quote of the day right there.
Good. I'm glad we established that one.
Yeah. Major earthquakes in California. Haven't seen any.
If there were, I would be team earthquake.
I was gonna say, wouldn't hate it, but no, we're not. We're not advocates of loss of life, but we are advocates of.
I'm advocates of loss of California.
We'll issue a trade to the Crown. We'll trade California for Canada.
Yeah, or at least just Alberta, Saskatchewan, Manitoba.
Yeah,
That's all we really
we'll take the
need.
cool parts.
We probably Vancouver too, because we're going to need that for pipeline to Alaska. So
Yeah, true. Fact. Okay. So far, not looking good for earthquakes in California, but dude, anything can happen. JFK files become public. This one is green, and yes, of course, we got this one.
Tulsi
pretty early.
did well. I mean, it happened very early in. Yeah,
It did. And obviously, I mean, it seems like there's still some stuff that we haven't gotten. We're still waiting on more, but I think
I think people will argue it's like, I think this is the thing with a lot of these files must be released for whichever topic, whether it be Epstein, aliens, MLK, JFK, where a lot of people have theories about and there's these theories that have grown over time. And I think a lot of people are going to be very unsatisfied unless their very specific theory gets confirmed. When a lot of these things could be, there's not all the information that exists on the files for this or that issue, or it's actually something kind of different than what you thought it was, Right. So I think there will be people that argue that it's not good enough and that should not be green. But I do not argue that.
I think technically speaking, we do have the JFK file. They're becoming public. They're being released. So I would call that one green. We can reassess the end.
I think a lot of people want it to be like, yes, we at the CIA did it, signed.
Right.
Right?
Exactly.
But it's like, that's not how this is going to work.
Not how it's going to work. Diddy goes bye-bye. This one can be interpreted multiple ways. You could say goes bye-bye means goes to jail, although I think he was already in jail by the time this was made, so I don't think that necessarily counts. Pretty sure Emily's intent here was that he
dies,
is disappeared, suicided, whatever, dies in some way. I had the same thing on my bingo card. Not yet the case. And now the trial has happened, and not a lot came from that, so I'm not sure exactly
I don't know what the current standing is actually on everything.
I don't either.
I haven't followed the Diddy trial super well.
I haven't either. We'll probably have to do a recap on that at some point to kind of get to the bottom of it. Okay, next, we've discovered that Blake Lively is a bully and wanted to direct It Ends With Us. I'm going to just preface this by saying this is so far out of my depth as far as knowledge goes. It came out as
Ryan Reynolds more so, but she's kind of a bully.
Yeah,
is that my understanding?
I mean,
I haven't followed it really.
What I've seen of it, and Emily, I've really only followed this story because of you, so thank you for bringing it to my attention, is that Ryan Reynolds was more of the instigating force behind the drama on that movie set, and that he was jealous of the sex scene between Blake Lively and the other gentleman whose name I'm forgetting because I'm so bad at pop culture. And so he created a lot of the issues here. But I don't know that we've actually gotten a confirmation on any of this. Emily, you'll have to fill us in and make sure that we're scoring this square correctly.
Argue for if it's green or not.
Correct. Let's talk about it in the Discord. Epstein list revealed. This one we left yellow on all of our cards.
We're in the middle of it.
Because we're in the middle of it. And we have what we had before handed out in binders. Great. But there's like all this stuff that's actually happening right now with grand jury testimony and stuff like that. Now, the specific list, Epstein list, that might be the sticking place on this one actually getting a green, because is there a list? Will we get a list?
Yeah.
There seems to be some conjecture that there isn't.
Well, and that's actually kind of, Dave and I talked about it on the last main episode, where my gut over time for a few years now has been that I don't think the blackmail was the primary operation here. And if there was blackmail, it was probably soft blackmail for his own protection rather than, and if that's the case, I don't think there's going to be yes, I human trafficked to this person type of list.
Right.
And it's much more about the shadow banking side. So maybe there's a list of clients on that or something, but what people think, the Epstein list in some ways I think might be a psyop, the existence of a list. I think that in itself might be a psyop from the bigger picture, but who knows where this will go. So
okay, reopen case of accidental death of Tafari Campbell. Tafari Campbell, for those who don't remember, was the chef who served as the personal chef to former U.S. President Barack Obama and his family during their time in the White House, and then also at their home in Martha's Vineyard. He was found floating naked in the bay near the Obama home. It was very quickly hushed up.
Speaking of Obama,
very weird.
Yeah, because we covered the Russiagate stuff on Tuesday's episode too. So I'm very curious to see where that goes. Like
True.
the Obama legacy, I think, is becoming more and more in question for a lot of people.
There's an unfavorable patina forming over it right now. But no, the case has not yet been reopened, so that one is still blank. NATO gets a much-needed facelift. We made this one yellow because...
I argued for it to go yellow because Trump got all of the NATO countries except for Spain to pay 5%. And in some ways, that's kind of a quasi-facelift.
That's a bit of a facelift, so we'll give it that. Free Ross. Ross was freed. Hooray for that. Trump makes massive changes to the tax bracket. We marked this one red because the tax bracket actually didn't change during the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act.
He really prevented it from going back to where it was.
Right.
So,
and it was really, I mean, he did make substantive tax changes, but it was not to the bracket specifically. So that was sort of the deciding factor.
Yeah, the big fight on the bracket side was making it so that it stays relatively where it was.
Right.
So
flying through a few more of these. Nancy Pelosi breaks her hip again. Not yet, but there's still time. Biden admitted to hospice.
We can only pray.
Not yet, but there's still time. Human reaction pods with Dave Smith. Not yet, but there's still time. We did find out what really happened to JFK Jr.
Technically, actually, on the human reaction pods with Dave Smith, would Liam count for that?
I would give that yes, because
as our partner and a human reaction member.
That's right. That's right.
Liam should make that green.
I think that's totally valid, and I would vote in favor of that. We'll talk about it at the end of the year with David, and who knows, maybe HR News Show gets Dave Smith on. We'll see what happens. We find out what really happened to JFK Jr. Yet? Not yet.
I don't think there's been any.
Not yet.
Yeah.
Hunter Biden goes to prison.
Well, he got pardoned, so.
Yeah, it's yellow because he could be called to testify on something.
He could say something weird on a podcast.
He could. He's on the press tour, so he could mess up and get subpoenaed and perjure himself. But he has been pardoned, so that seems unlikely. CNN goes bankrupt. Well, I mean, we had a lot of talk about this towards the end of last year. They were really hemorrhaging. They've done a lot of shakeups.
Didn't they just lose a lawsuit with Trump, too? I can't remember which media outlets have got.
I want to
There's
say
a
that
bunch
was
that got hit.
ABC or another one.
I don't know.
But over the Kamala thing during the election, they aired her ad or whatever. Prince William becomes the King of England. Not yet, to my knowledge. Joe Sheehan makes contact with aliens via his drone. Not yet, to my knowledge.
There was that one weird dream where you weren't sure if it was real or not. I don't know.
That's true. Was it a dream or was I abducted and brainwashed? Who knows?
Maybe it was just the drugs. No.
Maybe it was just all the drugs. Elon becomes Speaker of the House. Not yet.
Not looking like that's going to happen.
No.
Sorry, Emily. I don't know about that one.
Bill Clinton passes away. Now, he is looking very unhealthy.
I could see this happening.
Well, time will tell. Nonviolent J6 protesters released. Of course, this has already happened very, very early in Trump's administration. So green square there.
Oops,
nice job, Emily. Got a few green squares going. Couple more options happening for you. We're pulling for you.
Do we want to go to yours now, Joe?
Sure. Let's go to
Go
mine.
to yours.
All right.
Okay.
U.S. forces engage cartels in Mexico. This one we had greened a while back. We'll kind of leave some of the greens that have already been green.
Mm-hmm.
Homeland terrorist attack happens or is thwarted. This was early in the year as well with both the New Orleans truck and the Vegas Cybertruck incident.
I would like to know more about that Cybertruck incident.
Sure would.
That was a weird one.
That was
the
a
whole
weird one.
Sean Ryan thing too. With it was very weird.
And then it just went away. Yeah. It just got buried in the news cycle.
So much of all this stuff. It's just like we were talking about, and we'll get to this on one. It's like the LA stuff. It's just like it seemed like it was going to be a big deal, and then it just kind of went away.
Yeah.
It's
so weird. Third Trump assassination attempt has not yet occurred.
To our knowledge.
To our knowledge. Yeah. Has not been publicized. If it has. J6 prisoners pardoned, yes. A new front opens in World War III. Now, this one, I would lobby to say that the war with Iran was the opening of a new front because of the tension that it creates between Russia and the United States.
I don't think it creates tension between Russia and the United States. That's like my whole argument.
That's fair. That's fair. Now, the fact that it's closed.
I think it actually de-escalates tension between the United States and Russia.
That's an argument to be made, and I could see where you're coming from on that.
Maybe with China. I do think Iran's more of an important asset for China than it is for Russia. I think Russia wants to disentangle themselves. They're actually increasing their bonds with Israel.
I noticed
right
that
now.
Yeah.
So
well, and that's weird to me too. But I would say that Russia is entangled in Iran because they have Russian scientists on the ground who were potentially at risk of injury or death with the bombing campaign that went on there. Had any of them been killed or injured. I feel like that would have been a pretty damaging escalation. I don't know that we know that any Russian scientists were harmed, but nevertheless, I would say that's a yellow at least. But you know what? I'll leave it up to the broader.
I argue against that.
Broader vote.
It was kind of in the end all a big nothing burger.
It really was.
There was a lot of panicking going on, but it was like I predicted, it was going to be relatively nothing.
Yes, I guess
and probably move us closer towards more Abraham Accords countries coming in, and also probably move us closer to conclusions of Gaza, which I think we are getting closer to that. We're not there yet.
I do hope so, and frankly, I'm happy to be wrong on this square. So,
but it's also more stuff could happen with Iran. We're not out of the woods on any of this yet, we could see.
We certainly could
more stuff.
Major cyber attack blamed on China. Have not had one yet. We'll see.
Not that I can think of.
Nothing like that's really made headlines. There was some telecom stuff that happened.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking like power grid and big stuff that's impactful.
We seem okay there.
We do. Trump tariffs implemented.
Oh boy, they were.
Yes, sir. New freedom restrictions for civilians, specifically drones. Nothing yet, although the FAA is always good about implementing new things. So I'm sure they'll have something for us. Kash Patel is not confirmed. I just got that one squarely wrong, so that's a red square. Toxic food dyes banned. Answer, yes.
Yeah.
Mike Johnson replaced the speaker. Hasn't happened yet. I doubt it'll happen, so that's probably a red.
I don't see it happening. Yeah.
Probably a red.
Until maybe after the midterms, if there's some shakeup that happens, but even then, I think he'll probably stay.
I think so. Mitch McConnell leaves Congress. He has announced he's retiring.
I think this is his last term. Yeah.
But that should end in 26. So unless something happens where his health fails and he has to leave.
I would give it green because it's like we know there's confirmation he's not running again, and we have had that confirmed to us. Like, is it going to happen this year? No, but it's been announced that it's happening at the end of his term. I would grant that a green.
I appreciate that, and I would take it, but I would say also that from a stricter interpretation of leaves Congress, he has to actually leave Congress in 25. So
I'm more rules as intent.
Spirit of the law, not letter of the law.
I'm more of a spirit of the law guy.
I appreciate that, Kyle. Tulsi Gabbard confirmed his DNI. That happened.
And she's doing a good job.
She is doing a good job.
I actually think she's doing one of the best jobs of everybody. I think that there was a lot of propaganda to be had during the Iran situation of like, she's gonna get fired and things and I think that was agitprop. Like, I think that was propaganda that was intentionally trying to divide the administration. And I think that she's been doing a good job.
Yeah, for sure.
From all kind of points of view.
For sure. And I find it very interesting, the, bringing the new Obama Russiagate stuff to light. Seems interesting to me, particularly regarding, I think Trump just recently said that Obama is immune. I saw that on X
there today. There's a thing about presidential powers and things like that where
so the president has the authority to potentially frame the incoming president for a conspiracy that doesn't exist.
Yeah,
that's under the duties of the president.
But also a lot of people that will be hit with this is like Clapper and Brennan and a lot of those bad figures who have been in there for like a lot of it is just as much of a war on them, but then using Obama as a foil, I think, in a lot of ways.
So we might not get Obama, but we could get those
I don't
guys.
think we end up seeing. Well, there's a question too. Like the most curious thing for me in all of this is like what actually happens to these people. Like if they get caught in this, like, and there's criminal charges, is like, do they go to jail? Like, does that happen in this country? Like, I don't know. I actually have no idea.
Yeah.
I don't even know what to predict on that.
That's fair. That's fair.
Kind of weird.
Yeah. Ukraine war peace deal reached. Again, still yellow on that, hoping that it happens.
Keeps seeming like we're almost there, and then we're not there, and then we're almost there. It's kind of... It's the will they, won't they of the world right now.
Quite true. Elon retweets human reaction on X.
He has commented to Liam.
He has commented to Liam. So I'm just so dangerously close to that one, but not quite. Bitcoin crash. Currently looking like it's going the other way. It's about double what I had predicted it crashed to.
But that being said, you predicted 60,000. I didn't put this on the bingo card, but my exact prediction on this podcast was 74,000, and that is what it crashed to. After the trade war. So I nailed it. I nailed my last year prediction that it would be 100,000 by the end of the year. Nailed it. Then I predicted it would go to 74,000. Nailed it completely accurately. And now we're at 120.
Well, we have another prediction you made when we get to your bingo card, and we'll see if that one comes true. That would be quite something.
It'll be one of those things where we're going to be like 10,000 off of mine. It's going to be so close.
John Fetterman leaves the Democratic Party. Man, this one just keeps feeling like it's going to happen. He steps out of line with Democratic orthodoxy, and they lambast him for it. You've seen all the memes about, brain damage guy, great. And then brain damage guy says something that goes against us, and brain damage guy, vote him out, whatever. Anyway, I think he ultimately is out of step with the party, and I think he might leave.
Did you ever listen to his Rogan appearance?
Man, I started it.
I also started it.
That was some difficult listening.
It was difficult.
I can't really listen to that guy for more than a few minutes without feeling like I'm losing IQ points. Zelensky removed as Ukraine president. This one's, I think, contingent upon the peace deal. It seems like Putin's terms are, we can talk peace, but Zelensky's got to go. Yeah. Not sure.
I think he likely gets propped up in London with a penthouse or something when all this is done. I think that's kind of what I think will happen.
I could see that. See. He's done the bidding of the rich and powerful European elite, so I'm sure he'll be taken care of.
No, that's kind of Putin's line is like, am I talking to you or should I be talking to your masters? That's been his kind of line lately.
Israel temporarily takes more territory. That one did definitely happen. CIA alien disclosure. There hasn't
been much on aliens.
There really hasn't been a lot. Trump was always a little cagey around the aliens thing. Mm-hmm. Whenever he would be asked on the pre-election podcast tour, he was always more about JFK.
He doesn't
and
really care about it that much.
He's like, aliens, whatever. Yeah, so I don't know if that one's going to get a lot of press.
This will be depending on the political will of Congress, I think. It'll be a lot of those types, like the Anna Paulina Lunas and stuff, people like that, I think.
I agree, and I also think, who's in charge of the CIA? It's Ratcliffe, right? Yeah. John Ratcliffe. Doesn't really seem like a disclosure type. He's more of a deep state, swampy guy. So he's not going to be the one out here airing the dirty laundry and painting the CIA in a bad light for covering up things. So
we did have at the beginning of the year all that drone stuff in New Jersey too.
Yeah,
that was kind of interesting.
And that was exciting for the potential that might spur this on. But
it's just gone away. It hasn't been a thing that people have talked about.
When I think it might come up is when they need a good cover story to distract from something that's really important.
Which is kind of what it seemed like during the Biden admin when it came up. It was kind of like...
It was we might tell you about aliens. Look over there. Fuck.
Yeah.
Cover this up. Yeah.
Well, it's also... In some ways, it might even be like... In the Biden administration... There just wasn't much news, so everybody just went to aliens. And now in the Trump administration, it's just he is the content president, and there's real shit going on every single day. Yeah. And so not to say that aliens isn't real shit, because it may or may not be. That's kind of what we want to know.
Right.
But it is kind of one of those things where it's there's all this real geopolitical, economically interesting things that are extremely important that are happening, trade deals and all this new policy with new technologies and stuff like that, where aliens is just not the topic to be had at the moment. You know?
Yes, for sure. Exactly. I wish it were, but it's not at the moment. Hopefully we do get something on that. Diddy dies in prison. You know what? Could happen. I don't know. Could happen. Nancy Pelosi leaves Congress. Not looking good. Emily's broken hip thesis, possible. There's still time. False flag nuke attack. I really hope this one doesn't happen, but it could. I felt like we were pretty close to something like that with the Israel-Iran thing.
I could have seen there being an Israel agitprop nuclear attack thing.
Yeah.
I was worried about that happening.
Yeah. And my piece de resistance. If we get Zelensky out, then I really, really need Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce to break up, because that's my ace in the hole over there for my diagonal.
But also,
win.
if we granted your, no, it'll be difficult for you.
Yep,
you have bad placements on some of these.
I got, and they're all random, by the way. We designed these perfectly random, so yeah.
Well, let's go to my card.
Let's go to my card.
Like I said, a sea of color.
Well, a lot of these are very contingent yellows, but
they are.
From the top left, Doge is objectively proven successful. This one I could even see as being a yellow, because it did end rather unceremoniously with Elon leaving as his tenure was up, as his special government employee status. We haven't had many, or really any, I don't think, of the Doge cuts like
We've
really
had-
run through
we've had
Congress.
We've had like a few $1 billion worth in Congress. Like PBS got defunded and stuff like that. Most of the successes have been on the executive side, and I think it'll kind of be up to Congress to see if that's actually green or not.
Yeah. We'll have to come back to that one at the end of the year. But I mean, so far, I would say the success we've seen is just opening the vault door on some of these NGOs and some of these interesting organizations like USAID and whatnot, understanding where the money's going to all these ridiculous things. I think that's a victory in and of itself. So I would call that success. But ultimately, will any of the cost savings be put into place? We'll find out.
Yeah, we'll see.
Pudgy Penguins take over as a global cultural icon.
I would
Kyle,
put this
make
as
your
yellow.
case.
I would put this as yellow right now. I think by the end of the year it'll be green. Especially over the last 2 weeks, we've seen pretty much every single company in the crypto industry, as well as a lot of finance firms like Van Eck and places like that, adopt profile pictures of Pudgy Penguins. We have it taking over major partnerships with the biggest toy manufacturer in China. We've partnered with the Choibles in South Korea, which are like basically the big elite families in South Korea. Massive Malaysia pushes. Basically, Pudgy Penguins on like one of the biggest buildings in Malaysia like last week. It's been a good few weeks for a penguin.
Well, I'll tell you what, I will consider
a
it.
Pengu ETF likely being approved through the Chicago Exchange in August 23rd. It's looking like a Penguin ETF. Yeah. Coming probably August 23rd is the earliest that it can be approved, but it's looking like very likely approval for the Pengu token and the Pudgy Penguin NFT being lumped into those, which there's only 10 tokens that actually have ETFs. So
That's very interesting.
Yeah.
I would say that doesn't necessarily make it a global cultural icon, but
Van Eck brought in Pudgy Penguins, and they brought in a big Pudgy Penguin suit to ring in the NASDAQ a couple weeks ago. It's been pretty good. There's a YouTube show that is now in its beta testing called Lil Pudgies. There's a mobile game coming out in 3 weeks. There's a Telegram app called Pengu Clash that got released a few weeks ago. There's a movie in production.
Okay. I think it's going to be up to you to make your case at the end of the year as to whether or not global cultural icon status has been achieved. I would say, or I have a question rather. Is there a Pudgy Penguin Labubu?
It's currently in the works. It's actually currently in the works.
No shit.
Yeah, no, there's a partnership, and it should be coming in a few weeks.
Okay,
Yeah.
I very recently learned what a Labubu is.
Yeah.
And
Do you want me to hear?
maybe describe it to the audience.
Yeah, Pengbulu is coming.
Pengbulu?
Pengbulu is coming.
I don't even know what to make of that.
Yeah, so these are like kind of these like high-end keychain kind of products, kind of.
They're like designer things, and they're
Yeah.
really expensive and ridiculous.
Yeah, they kind of go for like $40 often. This is $70, but it's one of these things where like social media influencers, they're like mass marketing them. The Pudgy IP is going to be having a Labulu like product that'll probably go for like $40.
Labubu.
Yeah, it's Pengbulu is what they're going to be called, is my understanding.
Pengbulu.
According to Luca, the CEO, he's been talking about it kind of on the investor calls lately. But these are going to be coming because
when will Trump be sporting a Pengbulu?
Pudgy Penguins is also like the company. Pudgy Penguins is official government advisors on crypto policy for the White House, working with David Sachs.
That's
actually
crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah, like Vedant, the head of strategy at Pudgy Penguins, is like goes like for like monthly White House meetings and stuff like that. Yeah, like
Well,
I'm trying to tell you, the cultural icon thing is coming.
When you become a billionaire, don't forget us, okay?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, as a major investor, I am very happy with the team. It's Bitcoin and penguins. That's all I care about these days.
Well, on that note, cryptocurrency will see major consumer adoptions.
I would
Yellow.
put this yellow at the moment because we're in the building blocks on the regulatory framework side right now. So like it's one of these things where this might be more of a next year thing where the actual adoption comes, because we have the Genius Act that came through. So stable coins are going to be more widely adopted. Also going to help the T-bill side of things, like treasuries are going to love this. Visa has a stable coin coming. I believe BlackRock just launched a stable coin like a few days ago. So like the stable coin side, but then the Clarity Act still has to go through the Senate. And this is the regulatory side of who gets regulated by which industry. So it's like who gets the CFTC, who gets the SEC, what is what are the rules, what is like the very light regulatory framework for how to operate in the United States. That stuff still has to pass the Senate. It's looking like it will pass the Senate. We got some like lower taxation and getting rid of various double taxation standards that exist in the crypto industry. So it's like we're kind of like getting there, and I think the market's pricing all that stuff in now, but like the actual consumer adoption, that probably is more of a next year thing where we're going to start to see it more and more in your face, where it's just like, oh yeah, Visa has a stablecoin app that, that type of thing.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Gotcha. Cool. JFK MLK files released. That one was already green. Major tax cuts passed.
There was just more MLK files that were just released too.
Oh, really?
Yeah. David covered it last episode.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Major tax cuts passed. That did just happen with the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act. Record number of deportations. We're marking this one yellow because we're kind of on track for it, but the numbers seem unclear at the moment.
JD was making an argument that the way they track the numbers gives it way more in the Democrats' favor because they're tracking a lot of things as deportations that aren't actually deportations. It's like them being caught versus them being
sent overseas.
Yeah, so there's like this like double up on numbers, and JD was saying like if you use the net numbers and what they're not using the net numbers, it is actually up. So I don't know if that's true. JD was talking about.
Well, and a lot of it's been hung up in the courts and stuff like that. So there's been some headwinds there.
Immigration has flat out stopped, like illegal immigration. The border has closed. So.
Yeah. Well, we'll see if that one gets a little more clarity by the end of the year.
They also got more funding now, so we're probably going to see an uptick. So
I could see that. Record stock market growth. This one I think actually could be green. We're calling it yellow because it did reach all-time highs in the last few days. At least the S&P.
After the big crash of the trade war. So we saw the uncertainty.
Came down.
The regime change markets is what I like to call them.
The regime change markets.
Because that's a common thing, it's actually kind of a thing when regimes change, there tends to be a lot of market uncertainty that leads to a lot of instability, but then the sentiment comes later. So you have to judge it more later.
Yeah.
But I think August 1st, we're probably going to see a crash because tariffs are going to rise because that's the deadline. So it's going to be wobbly.
It's going to be choppy, but by the end of the year, I mean, really, this is one we have to just mark as of December 31st.
Yeah, exactly.
Is it all-time high or not?
It will be, I think. Yeah.
And I would say all-time high relative to the previous years. All-time high.
Yeah, it's actually, it might be better to look at growth,
or is it percentage growth?
Like it probably should be percentage growth.
That's tough because then we had a crash, so now we've got a. If we're back at highs that we were at before the crash, now we've got a very large delta between those two. Yeah. So by growth numbers, you could say that. Otherwise, I think really what you have to do is measure growth over year.
But if you actually just like look at the chart, it's more like we've just reverted to the mean. In a lot of ways, where it's like when it was pretty clear that Trump was getting elected, the market just started booming, and then when the tariffs were announced, it like went under the mean, and then it quickly came back to the mean, and now we're kind of like growing above that right now. So it's like people are kind of like how bad the market was or how good the market was is kind of depending on where you're drawing your chart at in a lot of ways.
Right. And which is why I think we have to look at growth year over year.
Yeah. Well, it's also like, when does Trump's market start, kind of? Because like it was just like there was this irrational growth period that happened before Trump even took office, before he was even before election day, because it was just so obvious that Trump was going to get elected. Whereas like there was just like a boom that existed there that wasn't like real in a lot of ways.
Yeah. We'll have to see. Conservative Party takes back Canada in a landslide. Appropriately,
Polyev did shit the bed on that.
Appropriately blood red for the Canadian Liberal victory.
Now
happened.
The Conservatives in Parliament actually did well, but they didn't take the majority. Nobody has the majority, so it's kind of like they picked up more seats than they had before.
Right. So. I think the operative word here is landslide. We were predicting that early in the year, and then obviously that margin narrowed substantially, and you didn't get the landslide.
The data before predicted 100 more seats.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the standard.
Yeah, for sure. Department of Education abolished. Haven't seen that yet, although I suppose there
was executive orders on it.
Linda McMahon is winding it down, so
it's kind of like in this. We're not going to abolish it, but like
it will be reduced.
In effect, it's large pieces of it will be abolished.
Perhaps.
Can that be pieces of the Department of Education were abolished.
No. Wording is important.
The spirit of the law.
Well, maybe we can bargain. Maybe we can bargain for
What was
a square.
that, Montesquieu? He wrote The Spirit of the Law?
I don't know. Major scandal at OpenAI. This one we did have green, but we've unmarked it because the scandal, which was the murder of the former OpenAI employee,
Quote unquote suicide.
quote unquote suicide, did not materialize into a major scandal at all. In fact, it's gone completely away, and Sam Altman is seemingly, buddy with
Doing
the administration.
pretty well, actually, yeah.
So I would say that's not yet a
From
scandal.
an optic standpoint, he seems to be doing a lot better than he used to.
Yeah. Bitcoin breaks 200K. We're on track for some pretty substantial gains, sitting around 120-ish thousand.
Wait on the Clarity Act. It's probably post Clarity Act is probably where things are going to get nutty, because right now it's like we've just had stable coin frameworks right now. So the Clarity Act is going to be where things probably get very nutty, and we're seeing more and more companies kind of using the Bitcoin treasury strategy. So we'll see. It's probably going to be this thing where it's going to be like 190, and we're going to have to mark that red.
Yep.
Probably.
Yep. Well, I hope for your bags that it is 190.
I originally had it at 150, and I was like, that's boring. Of course it's going to hit 150. Like, that was my attitude. So like, let's bump it up.
Yeah, and I appreciate that. Same with my Bitcoin crash to 60. I was like, I could pick 80, but that's just built in.
Would have nailed it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like obvious it was going to be some
like
sort of
yearly.
correction.
Yeah.
Especially after how much growth we had. Like, it went from like 60 to 110 very quickly because of the Trump hype.
Right.
And then
A 50%
obviously there's going to be a
pullback
correction.
off that is like just what Bitcoin does. Yeah. Bitcoin strategic reserve implemented
By executive order.
By executive order. That's a green square. Free Ross.
Also crypto related.
Yep. Escalation in Taiwan. We have not seen that, so it's still white.
Yeah.
Mexican-American war on cartels. We both had that one. Marked it green.
It's not like a real war, but spirit of the law.
Spirit of the law. There is an effort underway to combat the cartels, so we'll count it. Significant uptick in terrorist activity at home. We did have this one green. We marked it yellow today because there really hasn't been. There were the two things early on in the year that made it look like the trend was going to be up, but so far since then there really hasn't been anything.
In some ways, like LA, you could maybe like there's like unrest, terrorist activity.
Those are peaceful, mostly peaceful protests.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
You can't call those people terrorists.
But like, it is one of those things where, but it was even then, I thought LA was going to become a bigger thing, but it was like a week of nonsense and then it just went away.
Yeah. Well,
which suggests how much the rent-a-mob thing is probably
a factor.
Factor in it.
For sure.
They ran out of funds.
I mean, USAID was propping them up.
Yeah, it was.
They don't have that anymore. Israel takes up a massive expansionist move, similar to mine. We'll mark that green.
Although there's an element where you could maybe mark that yellow, where
I'd love to.
Where they got a small piece of Syria.
Yeah.
Like, it's actually Turkey was the one, like, Netanyahu didn't really get what he wanted with Syria. It was actually more so Turkey that got it, where they're kind of becoming the players of the Middle East that's kind of, controlling what's going on in that region. So
I might mark it yellow for the interim, just because there's possibilities that, things happen in the West Bank or in Gaza, depending on how that deal shakes out. But I think you're right. It hasn't really been massive. They did temporarily take more territory, quote unquote, and they still have that territory. Not massive, but they do have more territory. So
the massive word is probably the problem.
That's the operative word there. A new Epstein/Diddy type character emerges. We have not seen that yet.
Not that I can think of.
No one knew. That wasn't already like on the radar. Assassination attempt within the new aristocracy. I can't point to anything.
Really, no. There hasn't been any assassination attempts, really.
No, it's kind of just. Well, I mean, it's been like geopolitical stuff, but there hasn't been a lot of like overt, execution like of those sort of deep state things we might have expected. Yeah, kind of interesting. You would have expected more. Ukraine war concludes. Resources shift to Israel. I think
did shift.
The resources did shift, but we haven't seen the conclusion of the war, so that one's still yellow. Green one's on the bottom that we've previously had marked. Major reveal of a weapon no one knew existed. I forgot what that was.
What was it? There was something that happened. Was it like some sort of laser or something?
I mean, yeah, maybe.
We had reason to mark it when
did.
we recovered this like back in February.
We'll have to recap that one and figure out what that was. Trump does podcast press conference push. He definitely did do that.
Podcasters in the White House press briefings.
That's right. AI agents go mainstream. This seems likely this year. It seems like there's a lot of things in the works. On that.
I know companies like OpenAI have an agent that they're ready to. Actually, Grok is pushing the anime girl agent thing.
Right.
That's coming too.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that goes.
Yep. U.S. takes control of the Panama Canal. That pretty much happened.
Yeah,
I would say
pretty much under.
or like is taking back control. I would say. Epstein files released, heavily redacted. Now, this one we still marked yellow because we're still in the process of getting them, and what we've gotten released is what we've already had. So, still debatable.
It's looking pretty good for me right here. Record stock market growth is probably going to be green, and pudgy penguins are obviously taking over the world.
I think you're going to have to write us an essay when we do our final recap of this to justify the pudgy penguins, and it's going to have to come down to a vote. And I think we're going to have the Discord vote. I think that's what we have to do.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where if you see what's going on in Asia with it right now, it's pretty global. It's pretty global.
Well, Asia isn't the globe, so
Middle East as well.
TBD.
Also Russia, like a lot of pudgy activity in Russia going on because it transcends wars. People under index cute.
People under index cute. Kyle Mack quote of the year, unless you plagiarized it.
It's something that we say.
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
It's kind of a meme, a bit in the pudgy penguins ecosystem.
Fair. That's fair. I think that's
on our investor calls.
Let's move to David's card and wrap this one up.
There's going to be a lot of copies in here, so we can maybe skip over those ones.
Yes. So Ben Shapiro debates Dave Smith on Israel has not yet happened.
Ben Shapiro doesn't debate anybody over the age of 19.
He's like the Leonardo DiCaprio of debates.
I mean, he's not going to debate a 40-year-old man. It's crazy.
No. Who would do that? Someone who can actually take on your arguments.
China takes Taiwan, I don't think is going to happen. I would be surprised if that happens.
I agree with that. Tech-friendly Democrat gets into power. I don't know who that's going to be, and I think David will have to make a case as to who that tech-friendly Democrat is.
I mean, in a lot of ways, the tech-friendly Democrats are just Republicans now. Like, we kind of saw that with the AI conference that we covered earlier today.
I mean, that's true.
Like, that was just all the AI people there who are, like, former Democrats who are on board with the Trump admin.
Yeah.
It's kind of the story.
So that one could be debated, but they're not probably going to be wearing the label of Democrat currently. So we'll have to see. TikTok ban reversed. I'm not even actually sure where this one stands.
We're in another 90-day period, I believe.
Classic.
Yeah.
Classic taco. Just kidding. Trudeau out in Canada. Got it. Renewal of the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act. Got it. Mm-hmm. Defend the Guard passes somewhere. I don't think it has passed anywhere yet.
I feel like it did in some states, maybe. I don't know. I feel like it...
I will ask Grok briefly, and we can move on and come back to it. AFD dominates election, can't form ruling government. They did not dominate the election, unfortunately, so that is a big, fat, red square.
Unless there's another election coming. I don't know. Probably not. Biden makes a fool of himself after leaving office. Remind us if that's happened. I don't feel like he has. He's kind of... I'm not even sure he really exists. Actually, remember that image that... came out on the Joe Biden's Twitter account where it was like him and his whole family and like he was so clearly photoshopped into it.
Yes, it was an Easter image, I believe.
Yeah.
Sitting on some steps and he was like, it just looked very fake. That like he was in a suit and everyone else is in sort of like Sunday casual.
His hands didn't make sense with how they were coming. Like
yeah.
It just looked so photoshopped.
Yeah.
I'm not sure he exists. I'm not sure he's existed since that Las Vegas incident.
Maybe he was in the truck.
Yeah.
Okay.
Did he debate before or after that incident? I don't remember.
I don't recall. Okay, so nothing definitive on that yet. Third Trump assassination attempt, no. Congress fails to cut the budget. We left this one yellow and not green.
Probably green.
It's probably green. I mean, they still have time, I guess, but with the passage of the big beautiful bill, that was very overtly in the opposite direction, raising the debt limit. I don't know. I guess it depends on what they can do with the Doge cuts. Maybe that will have some impact, but whatever it is, it probably won't be meaningful.
Well, and where they're getting revenue is coming from, like, because they cut a lot of revenue because of the taxes. But we're also seeing the Treasury in June had its first surplus since 2017, I believe.
Probably largely to do with tariff
because
revenue.
Of tariff revenue, where they're bringing in like it was like $400 billion in tariffs. So like we're seeing some of that stuff where like and depending on where the growth comes, but that the growth is probably going to be in future years because right now we're kind of in this construction period. So yeah, it'll be kind of, but that's not the budget per se. It's just going to be there's going to be probably new revenue that's coming in. So
sure. New Nord Stream pipeline revelations. We have not had anything yet other than a sort of passing comment from Trump about
he was asked by
did it.
Zero Hedge, I remember, at a press conference, the Zero Hedge guy, and Trump kind of like giggled.
Yeah, he did. And I don't know if that's new revelation. It's really not new revelation.
He's kind of like, I think we all knew what happened there.
Yeah.
That's kind of what he suggested.
Sort of a wink and a nod moment, but yeah, nothing terribly new. AI files released. Government attempts to hard censor AI. Doesn't really seem like that
unless you consider the no woke censorship.
Holy shit. That might actually be...
Because the executive order was signed this week.
That might actually be hard censorship.
Well, but it's specifically AI that the government is using. So like if you're having a government contract with the government, it can't be...
Which is not...
Yeah.
I mean, it's...
You can make a woke AI. It's just the government won't use it.
Right. So that's not hard censorship. Might be soft
censorship,
yeah.
maybe.
All right. BLM 2.0 media cycle. This one, I think we might have to get some clarity from David on in terms of like what his actual intent here was.
The Bureau of Land Management.
Yes. Well, it did have its own moment in the sunshine around the around Mike Lee's public land sale issues.
Yeah, that's why I was like, it's up to it. No, but like for Black Lives Matter, like I thought LA was going to be this.
Yeah.
I thought LA was going to turn into this multi-month period to just completely derail Trump.
You could say that it was more brief than BLM 1.0.
Only
but it
took
was
a week.
Sort of that. It was BLM just turned from Black Lives Matter into immigration or immigrant lives matter.
No, and it made Trump look good and made Gavin Newsom look bad. Like that's really kind of what it was.
Unfortunately, it did.
I think it just kind of shows that Americans in general are kind of just over the right type of stuff. They just like, let's have some peace.
Yeah, for sure. Pandemic. We had this one yellow because there was some sort of sniffing around of something bird flu or I don't know what early in the year, but it was nothing burger. Didn't manifest. Death of the woke narrative. Dems abandoned base.
Woke narrative has definitely died, as shown by the symbol of Sydney Sweeney.
That's true. Sydney Sweeney is putting a stake into the heart of woke as we speak. But I don't think that's because the Dems have done anything to spearhead that.
The Dems just seem like they don't exist anymore.
Yeah, where are they?
Like they're just so not there. Like the only Democrat stuff is this dude over in New York.
Right, the
Mbambi or whatever his name is.
Yeah, I forget his name.
La 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 bum. That just made me think.
Wow.
Mbambi, I think his name is.
Yeah.
Who's like a commie. But like other than that, what is
Mamdani.
Mamdani?
Yeah.
But other than that, like where have the Democrats been? Like they just don't exist.
They've been pretty quiet. I mean, obviously doing their thing, but I don't know.
So in some ways, maybe they've abandoned everything.
They've abandoned all hope, apparently. Reform Party overperforms in the next cycle. That is in the UK. I don't know that we've got anything conclusive on that. Have they had their election cycle yet? When is the UK?
Would that be this
election
year?
Cycle and
Starmer's
is the Reform Party?
I feel like Starmer just like got in, didn't he?
I don't know. Let me look. We'll let that populate while we. Oh, here we go. The next UK general election is scheduled to be held no later than Wednesday, August 15th, as mandated by the Dissolution and Calling of Parliament Act of 2022. The Reform Party, led by Nigel Farage, secured 14.3% of the vote share in 24, placing third but winning only 5 seats. Current polling suggests that the Reform Party is leading voting intentions for a hypothetical general election. Looks like they're at 28% ahead of Labour at 22%, Conservatives at 17%, and Liberal Democrats at 16%, and then the Greens at 12%.
Where's Starmer going to be at on this?
Starmer is Labour, right?
Yeah,
I think.
I feel like he's gotten a lot of wins lately.
It looks like they're on track to overperform. So this should be a yellow square, and by the middle of August, we'll know whether or not this is green or not.
I have a hunch. I haven't followed the UK elections at all, but I have a hunch Starmer's going. Well, There's some of the social and censorship side that Starmer's had some bad narratives around, but on the economics and trade side, he was the first to come to the table with Trump, and he had a massive win for British steel, and because that industry was starting to crumble, and that's like very important industry for them. And I believe the UK is currently in talks for the finalization on the deal, and it's looking really positive from my understanding, at least from the signals that the administration has given. So I imagine that that's going to be going, if the election's August, that's going to be a massive victory for him going into the election. So I have a feeling Labour is going to do fairly well because of that. But I don't know.
Well, yeah, according to this poll from July 13th, 14th, it shows Reform leading at 28%.
That's very interesting.
Yeah, just over a week ago.
Well, I mean, the UK has been like throwing people in jail for Facebook posts, and Starmer's been...
And immigration is a huge driver.
Also immigration. Immigration's also huge. Yeah.
Mike Johnson stays the speaker. That's green so far. Could flip that one and get a square for myself.
Then you would get a green, yeah. And David would get red.
Zelensky returns to comedy. Hope so, but I mean, at this point, that one should probably be white. I don't know if there's any indication he's going to return to comedy.
I think he's just going to retire in a nice penthouse in London.
Yeah,
probably be the case.
India's economy surpasses Germany. So far, has not surpassed Germany. Germany's leading India's economy by about, I think, 500 million.
India huge on the trade deal. India's, I have a feeling post-trade deal stuff, I think India is going to be doing very well.
True. That could definitely flip post August 1. So by the end of the year,
there's a lot of partnership that's happening there. Actually, that's actually something I was going to mention, and we didn't get to in the other podcast. Something that Lutnick was talking about, but this had to do with Japan. But I think India has a similar deal that's being structured, where part of the trade deal is actually financing and also just general funding of various energy projects in the United States that then becomes this like partnership where it's like, okay, Alaskan energy project, America gets 90% of the profit and Japan gets 10%. And I think India is trying to do some of those types of deals too, I believe. So that'll be very interesting.
It will be. Yeah. The West gives up the Donbass. That would sort of be contingent upon the Ukraine deal.
Part of the Ukraine stuff, yeah.
Hopefully that happens. Ubisoft goes bankrupt. Hasn't happened yet. The rise of sex bots. I don't know. You could say this is a yellow square. Judging by CES, the Consumer Electronics Show, there were some robots that had very human characteristics. I don't know that there were any
I believe they said, but they're not sex bots. I believe they specifically said that.
They may have said that. That may have been said.
This is one of those things where it's the rise is going to happen very quickly. It'll be like it's not here and then it's here.
Right.
Like, and that's going to be one of those things.
Well, I would say before that, we're going to see the rise of like the AI girlfriend, boyfriend
the chatbot
thing,
stuff.
which is already happening.
That's big. Yeah.
It's already happening. So, I mean, that's the precursor. The wheels are definitely in motion for us to get there, which is a sad thing for humanity, in my opinion. H-1B visas, lastly, are changed but not ended. So far, I don't think there's been any change to the H-1B program.
I have a feeling we're going to see that happens with what Trump is signaling with like the agriculture and hotel and stuff like that. People keep saying that Trump is suggesting an amnesty program. And I don't think that's the correct phrasing. They've like very specifically said that they're not doing an amnesty program, but they seem to be wanting to have some sort of path to cleaner citizenship for various people of particular industries, which I don't, and like green cards and H-1Bs. Actually, path to citizenship's not the word. It's like cleaner visa process for those types of people in those industries that are needed.
I mean, I think a lot of things around our visa and immigration policy need to be cleaned up and streamlined. I mean, I think that's very clear and has been. Obviously, the precursor to that is figuring out the border, stopping illegal immigration, and then we can kind of figure out the legal processes.
Well, and that's always like, I always say, I'm not inherently pro-immigration or anti-immigration. I feel like there's a middle ground that exists there. And it's like, on one side, it's like you either have to be for 100% immigration of everybody, no matter what, or it has to be 0% immigration. And like, that's where the conversation so often exists. And I was just like, how about we just have like a cleaner H-1B process? like I would be down for that. I feel like that's a better idea. Or if like we vet some of the people that are currently here in some of these industries that make sense. And do you have cartel affiliations? And like, let's have like rigorous vetting on that. And if they don't, maybe there's a cleaner process.
Yeah. Maybe AI can do some of the vetting.
People that have cartel issues, send them straight to super jail. Like, I don't know.
Or just turn them around. Easy enough.
It's like,
yeah. Well, so far, Kyle, I think you are ahead. I mean, pretty definitively leading.
Oh, yeah.
And you've got a couple really solid paths to victory. Pudgy Penguins as a global cultural icon and record stock market growth get you the vertical. If you add in cryptocurrency, seeing major consumer adoptions, that gets you the top horizontal. AI agents and Epstein files released gets you the bottom horizontal. You got a lot going.
I do think on the major consumer adoption, I do think the major narrative that we're going to see in Q4 on the crypto side is going to be like, oh my God, all these crypto companies are IPOing. They're all going public. I think that we're going to be end up seeing.
I would call that consumer adoption.
Yeah,
for crypto because it's
the legitimacy
financial
aspect.
It's financial consumer adoption, which would mean access to everyday traders who exist in the New York Stock Exchange world of things, the traditional finance world of things.
Which is why the Pudgy Penguins, has rang the bell now twice, one at the NASDAQ and one at the New York Stock Exchange, one with Bitwise at the New York Stock Exchange several months ago. And then they did it a couple weeks ago with Van Eck at the NASDAQ, where they bring in a big Pudgy Penguin suit. Like, I actually know the guy that was in the suit. and
when do you get to be the guy in the suit?
Nah, I'm not doing that.
Come on, dude, do it.
All in best for Montana. But yeah, it's like it's kind of one of those things where it's just like the legitimacy is here. Now it's like the products per se. How deeply integrated are the products? I know Jack Dorsey just said that Square like 2 days ago is now all vendors now have have Bitcoin integration just in it. So it's kind of like there will be kind of like a gray area of where we draw the line on that, but it'll be like the legitimacy is so clearly there, and it's where the world is moving over the next few years.
Yep. I like it. Well, come on, Travis, break it off, buddy. I need you. I need Travis Kelce to just get up and leave.
Then you got it.
Then I got it. Yeah. All right, guys, this has been an episode of the SCIF. Once again, we appreciate your support very, very much. Thank you for putting up with our irregularities of scheduling and content. We're going to do lots more interesting and cool stuff once our schedules calm down come the fall. Might even be doing some live streaming, might even be bringing you guys into the studio with us. We'll see what happens, but
can we fit people in here?
Can't really fit you in the room, but
not like the old studio where we had a big warehouse.
I meant virtually, but
gotcha.
Maybe there's an opportunity. We'll have a little hangout. So anyways, thank you so much for supporting the show. For Kyle Mack, David Rand Bennett, I'm Joe Sheehan. See you in the next one.
Peace.